The sun beat down, sand stretched out endlessly. The Israelites walked, their sandals sinking into the desert floor. They had left Egypt, but freedom felt like a burden. Their stomachs rumbled, empty and aching. Each day felt longer than the last. They had used up the food they brought. Fear crept into their hearts. What if there was nothing left to eat? What if they were left to starve in this barren land? The children cried out, their small voices filled with pain. Mothers held them close, their own eyes filled with worry. They looked to Moses, their leader, hoping for a sign of hope. Doubt took root in the hearts of the Israelites. They forgot the miracles they had seen. They forgot the Red Sea parting before them. They forgot the power of their God. They complained to Moses. "Would it have been better to die in Egypt?" they cried. "At least there we had food to eat." Their words were bitter, their faith shaken. They had forgotten God's promise to take care of them. But Moses heard their cries. He understood their fear. He too felt the pangs of hunger. Yet he knew that God would not abandon them. He lifted his hands to heaven and prayed. God heard the prayers of his people. He saw their suffering. He knew their hearts, filled with fear and doubt. He promised to provide. That evening a wind swept across the desert. It carried a strange, sweet scent. As the wind died down, the Israelites looked up in amazement. Covering the ground like a blanket of frost was something they had never seen before. "What is it?" they whispered to each other. Moses smiled. "This," he said, "is the bread the Lord has given you to eat." It was manna, a food sent from heaven. Section 4. A gift for each day. The Israelites gathered the manna. It was small and white, like coriander seed. They ground it into flour and baked it into cakes. It tasted sweet like honey. For the first time in days, their stomachs were full. God had provided. He had sent food from heaven to sustain them. But there was a lesson to be learned. Each day they were to gather only enough for that day. God promised to provide anew each morning. On the sixth day, they were to gather twice as much. The seventh day, the Sabbath, there would be none. God was teaching them to trust in his daily provision. Section 5. Trusting the Provider. Day after day the miracle continued. Every morning the manna appeared. Every morning the Israelites were reminded of God's faithfulness. They learned to rely not on their own strength, but on the one who held them in his hands. The manna was a symbol of God's love, a tangible reminder of his presence. It was a lesson in trust, a call to let go of worry and embrace the gift of each day. The desert was still vast, the journey still long, but the Israelites knew they were not alone. They had a God who loved them, who cared for them, who provided for them. Section 6. A Journey of Faith. The story of the manna is a story for us all. We too journey through deserts, facing challenges and uncertainties. We too experience hunger, not always for food but for love, for purpose, for hope. In those moments we are invited to remember the manna. We are invited to trust in the God who provides, who cares, who never abandons his children. He is there, offering us daily bread, strength for the journey, and hope for the future. So let us continue our journey with hearts full of faith. Let us trust in the God who provides. Let us remember the manna and be filled with wonder. The journey is long, but we are not alone. God is with us every step of the way. If you enjoyed this journey through Exodus, please like, comment, and subscribe to support our channel. Join us as we continue to explore the wonders of faith and God's provision.